edge of our bikini, we'll be finished sewing the elastic on the lining side and then folding and doing a top stitch. So we can leave it to the end or we can do it now. It's up to you. It doesn't matter. One of the things that I like to do, just like we did now, is just flatten all my fabrics together, aligning my seams just like I did here, and do a basting stitch before I finish the lower edge of my bikini. This is just a way for me, but it's up to you if you want to stabilize them together or not. It's really hard when you have a stretchy fabric and a non-stretchy fabric to combine them without ripples or waves or any defects. And actually, when you have a plain fabric like this one, it's very easy to spot any mistakes you do on your sewing, like excess fabric here. You can see a little bit of excess fabric here. It's easy to spot when it's a plain fabric. It's not that bad, but you can see that we have excess fabric here. I've also changed a little bit the distance between the cups here, so the bridge is a little bit wider than it was when I did this test, to make this a little bit easier. But you can see that this is one of the ways you look when it's finished. In this edge here, I actually did something different, because instead of applying the elastic on the side of the lining and then folding and doing a top stitch, I applied this orange ribbon, which I then cut on this side. So I placed the orange ribbon on top of my main fabric. I sewed an elastic on top of the orange, and then when I fold it to the wrong side, a little bit of the elastic is sticking out, because the width of my overlock is a little bit smaller than the width of my elastic. So I have that small bit of elastic having a sneak peek here, which is something I do often because I really like it. And then I just folded it inside and I did a zigzag. And to finish, I used a scissor and I cut the excess fabric of the orange inside. I really like it. I think it's a very nice way to finish the lower edge of the bikini. And this is also an option for you instead of the one we are doing today, just applying the elastic and folding and sewing. So you already know that you can also do something like this. And since we're here, let me only tell you that on this edge here, the pattern is not designed for you to do this finish here, but it's similar to this one, but instead of the elastic going to the back, the elastic stays on top, so it's sewn on the opposite side and then top stitched. And it's also a nice detail. I've used this technique on the Marilyn bikini top, so if you want to see how to do it, just watch that tutorial. But for now, I'm just going to pin, like I was telling you, I'm just going to pin the fabrics together. I'm going to do a basting stitch just so that they are aligned, and I'm gonna try and avoid the ripples. Since my fabric now has a print, it's easier to disguise any flaws that it will have in the end. But so if you are starting and you don't feel very comfortable doing this for now, I would advise you not to do on a plain fabric, so that you can also disguise any mistakes or any flaws on your sewing if it's the first one, okay? And that's it. Let's go ahead and do a basting stitch on this lower edge, and then we will be placing the cups on our frame. Now that I have stabilized my seams, I'm going to show you how to attach the cup to my frame. So on the side of your inner cup, it will be aligned on this edge, and the outer cup here. And the seam line, the notch between these two cups, is aligned with this line here. So I'm just going to grab, and you can see that it will stay like so. So I'm going to put it right sides facing together. I'm going to align the lower part here in the middle, maybe with a clip for now. You could have baste stitched these two fabrics together to make this easier. And now I'm gonna grab this side and I'm going to align them perfectly on the side. And again, another pin. And now the opposite side, this one, on the center bridge with the cup. And another pin. And now we just need to very carefully align it. Since the frame doesn't stretch, I think it's easy for you, despite these are opposite curves, it's easy for you to align the fabrics on your hand like I'm doing here. Just because the fact that the cradle doesn't stretch, I think, at least for me, it makes easier for me to just tuck the fabrics in and then just pin them. And usually this is not that hard. It seems hard, but I don't think it is. Once you've done it once or twice, I don't think it is. And I'm gonna do the same on this here. And when we have all the wire line pinned, we will go to our straight stitch machine and we will do a stitch combining the two together. I use a straight stitch on the seam allowance marked on the pattern, which is 0.6 millimeters, and I sew a line from one edge to the other, from here to here. And once is done, I will go and do the other one. The cup is sewn in place, as you can see here. Okay, and now we will repeat the process for the second one, and once we have both of them, we are going to apply the channeling. In this case, I applied channeling with this beautiful color. I'm gonna check which I have available. You don't see it, so it doesn't matter so much. Despite when you look inside, you always like to see matching colors. It really doesn't matter because you're not going to see it, right? So grab your cup, sew your second cup, and we'll be back. This to you as a bandeau bikini top or bandeau bra, and so, as you know, I'm improvising the straps from Bikinipattern Top Winter, and I told you in the beginning that we could have improvised any kind of straps that we wanted. We could put a loop with a ring and then tie some thin straps. We could have two long straps and tie a bow on our shoulder. So we have a lot of options, and it's up to you to know if you want to place the strap or not. However, I inserted the strap, and if you remember, I forgot to insert it, and then I had to go back and cut it and insert the strap so that my strap was sewn between the two fabrics. And on the back, it's exactly the same. So if we want our strap to also be between the two fabrics, we need to open the seam, which I've now closed with my stitch, but this is easy to remove. I can open the stitch line here between these two fabrics, insert the strap, sew it like we did on the front, and it will be secure in place. However, I'm really not quite sure where I want my strap to be attached on the back. I believe I know the spot, which is very near the center, like here, because it has a tilt, and it was designed to be sewn parallel to the edge of the fabric on the bikini pattern top winter. So I believe it will work here if I just sew it in place very near the center here. We will then put a clasp in the center, so I need to be careful regarding that. And I can go ahead and cut and insert it and sew it together, or I can also, or you can also just sew it in place with a zigzag, put a pin here, and on the right side of the fabric you do a zigzag from one edge to the other. Okay, you will see the stitch, it's true, but it's up to you if you want to remove the seam allowance or if you want to do it on top. On top, it allows you to make sure you choose the right spot for you once your bikini is ready. So I think today I will go for that instead of opening the hole and inserting the strap. At least for now, I'm gonna leave it like it is. Well, let's move on. I'm gonna use black because it's the one I have most meters, so it's the one I'm gonna use today. And this is just like on the bra. We will need to secure our this is slightly stretchy, our channel on the seam allowance that we just sewn. So I'm gonna do this one first. I'm gonna go to the outer sides and I'm going to secure the wire channel, sewing very near the edge on this side here with a straight stitch, very near the edge from one edge until I reach the front of the bridge, always following the line that we have sewn before, that one, always following the line and making sure that I'm sewing this on my seam allowance, okay? And for now, let's sew one of them. To help you, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I'm gonna do that. So I don't use pins usually. I go to my straight stitch machine and I just go with my channel and my bikini, and I go and I start sewing, and then it's easy. You will feed both the channeling and the fabric at the same time. So I don't pin, I don't use clips, I don't use any of that. But if it's comfortable for you, more comfortable for you, I would say that maybe you can use a clip here in the beginning, just so it's easier for you to start sewing. But then you remove it and you will follow. I will film so that you can follow me. So it is sewn in place. If I flatten this like so, I'm able to see where I want to cut my channeling so that it's not visible. And the first part of my channeling is sewn in place. Now I'm going to repeat the process for this one. Don't forget, I'm just going to trim some threads. Don't forget that we want to sew our channel to the seam line, and this time we will start on the center, so we can go ahead and close the channel on the center for this side. We can go ahead and sew it on before we just sew this edge here so that it's closed. And then we did, oh look, I have a mistake here, see? We can go ahead and place this just like we did on the other side. We place it here and we start sewing near the edge again until we reach the outer side of our cup. And now I'm not going to film because we already know how to do it, and then I'll be back here to let you know what to do next. Bye.